these are the strangest places dead bodies have ever been found, part 4. In an elevator shaft. In the city of Xi'an, a woman by the name of Wu lived on the 15th floor and was very to herself and didn't really talk to many people. In fact, with not many people knowing who she was or her not talking to anybody, no one was really worried about her until they found her dead body in the elevator inside of her apartment complex. Now this is pretty stupid on the repairman's part, but they actually shut down the elevator while she was using it and didn't open it until a month later when they had to pry open the door to see if anyone was in there. Right after they pried open the elevator door, there laid Wu's body with her hand pressed up against the elevator door like she was trying to escape. Her death was finally ruled out as severe starvation and dehydration. My thought that stuck with me throughout this whole article is, how are you so dumb that you turn off an elevator while there's someone still in there? Basically, the repairman working on the elevator killed this woman. Yo, what's up? These are the strangest places a dead body has ever been found, part 5. Inside the chimney of an abandoned house. In late December of 2019, 14-year-old Harley Dilley went missing and vanished from his home in Ohio, but was found in early January in an abandoned house's chimney. You see, it was said that when Dilley ran away, he had climbed on top of the abandoned house, took off his glasses and jacket, and jumped in the chimney, probably thinking he was going to get out, but he accidentally died after he couldn't find a way and he got stuck in the middle of the chimney. The police didn't even suspect this house to be where he would be found. There was no broken windows, no signs of forced entry, nothing. And I'm not even sure how Harley got on top of the house, but it's pretty tragic that he died in a chimney. What's even weirder is this isn't the first time a child was found dead in a chimney. In fact, this boy above, named Joshua Maddox, was missing for 7 years and was finally found in a chimney and was also ruled as an accidental death.
Really weird things found in Antarctica that will absolutely blow your mind. First up, we have this sea creature that was found 500 meters below the ice. It's a worm that has jagged teeth, razor sharp. And then we found this giant sea monster off of Deception Island. They still don't know what this is, but it was captured on Google Earth. Next, we have these pyramids. They believe that they might actually be ancient pyramids, but it's super cold, so they don't know how anyone lived there.
Yo, what's up? These are the strangest places dead bodies have ever been found, part 2. The Walmart bathroom. In 2017, at a local Walmart in Springs, Oklahoma, 29-year-old Catherine Caraway was seen walking into the building, but never was seen walking out. The following Monday, an employee was heading to clean the bathrooms when they realized that the door had been locked, and it was never usually locked. The employee then went to find a manager who could open the bathroom doors for them, but when they got in there, they noticed that there were 2 out of order signs on the bathrooms that weren't there before. As soon as the employee had walked through the door, he noticed the dead body of 29-year-old Catherine Caraway laying there with an air duster can right beside her. The police claimed that her body had probably been there for days, but even then, none of the workers had noticed. The police then came back to the workers after doing investigations and claimed that her death was caused by difluorothane toxicity after huffing on air dusters found in her vehicle. Yo, what's up? These are the strangest places dead bodies have ever been found, part 3. Inside of a tiger shark's stomach. In early November, a man went missing off the coast of La Reunion in the middle of the Indian Ocean and wasn't found until a couple of days later. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say he wasn't found until a couple of days later? No, I meant parts of him weren't found until a couple of days later. That's right, only parts of him were found, and that was his forearm that was found inside of a tiger shark's stomach, along with a bracelet he used to always wear, and his wedding ring that his wife identified was his. The death of this man is still quite undetermined, and it's being looked at as to whether he was drowned, subsequently eaten, or just killed by the shark. Now, there's been other stories of people's body parts being found in sharks, one in which a shark regurgitated someone's leg. Surfing and other outside water sports have been banned off the coast of La Reunion since 2013, judging by the fact that they just don't want another shark attack to take place. Yo, what's up? These are the strangest places dead bodies have ever been found. Part 1. An air conditioner. On June 18th of 2015, 29-year-old Carlito Vale, who was an immigrant trying to escape the harsh lifestyle and oppression of the country of Mozambique, was hiding in the wheel well of an airplane when he fell out of the undercarriage. Vale would eventually fall 1,400 feet to his death, where his body would in turn land inside of an air conditioning unit located on top of an online business building known as Not the Highest on the Street. Vale's body was found headless around 9:45 a.m. the next morning by the office manager of the building when he was checking the air conditioning units, and once he hit the rooftop, all he could describe were 2 legs sticking out of the unit and lots of blood. But listen to how strange this is. Shortly after Vale's body was found, they also found another immigrant who was around the age of 24 who was in critical condition and alive when he hit the ground. But when he was discharged from the hospital after being treated, he was never seen or heard from again.
Places you should never swim, part 1. Make sure you click copy link so I know you've seen this. First up, we have the boiling lake. What makes this so dangerous is the boiling magma under the surface of this lake. It would literally burn you to death. We have Jacob's Well, and no, it doesn't belong to anybody called Jacob. Crystal clear, you can see right to the bottom of this lake. However, if you enter this lake, you are very unlikely to come out of there alive, and this is why. This lake has hidden caves, so if you enter one of these caves, it is going to be near enough impossible to find your way out. Share with everyone you care about and follow for part 2.
We got a lot of crazy people on this app that are kind of like me, so I know you'd be down to take a pretty scary trip. Yo, what's up? These are the top terrifying places you should never visit alone. Part 3. The Stanley Hotel in Colorado. Now, if you're a huge horror fan, you've definitely seen this before. It's a 142-room colonial revival estate in Estes Park in Colorado. Now, the reason it's so familiar is because it was in the horror classic film The Shining. Now, The Shining was a terrifying film, we all know that, and it had some paranormal things that went on in the show. But they also had some real-life encounters that shook them all. The North Youngest Road in Bolivia. Now, if you have a fear of heights, you're definitely not going to want to visit this location. The reason being is you see that car right there? Yeah, it's about 2,000 feet up from an abyss, and the path is only 12 feet wide, going back and forth. So you're going to have to be passing cars on a 12-foot wide strip. And I don't think you want to do that unless you want to fall to your death. Veho Rankon in Finland. I'm going to explain it real quick. It's 550 concrete statues in different forms, as you can see right here, that are going to terrify the crap out of you. And it's in the middle of a forest. Just don't go.
One island in Brazil is the home to one of the world's deadliest snakes. The lancehead viper's venom can kill a human being in under an hour, and this island is crawling with them, 1 snake per square foot, which is why people aren't allowed to visit. Apparently around 1910, there was a single family on the island running its lighthouse, but one night a huge amount of snakes slithered in through the windows. In a desperate bid to escape, the family attempted to flee to their boat, where they were bitten by snakes overhead from tree branches, all dying in the forest. On the upside, holidays there are extremely cheap.
Yo, what's up? Here's some of the top terrifying secret locations around the world. Part 1. Number 1 is going to be Ponary Fortress in Romania. Now, we all know the story of Dracula and how freaking terrifying it is, but what if I told you that there was an actual real-life ruler named Vlad III Dracula who ruled back in the 15th century? And this desolated castle in the middle of the mountains of Romania was actually his. Home to many dark spirits and vampires, it had to be put on this list. Next on our list is going to be the Cave of Hanging Snakes in Mexico. Now, caves are already mysterious and eerie as it is, but imagine walking into a cave and realizing that it is infested by rat snakes that are living in the roof of the cave. And if you end up walking the whole cave, you will find yourself 2 hours away from your car in the middle of a dark cave. Last on our list is going to be the Boleskine Graveyard in Scotland. Now, this place is over 500 years old, and it is said that an old occultist used to come and perform necromancy rituals and even try casting spells to reanimate the dead. Oh yeah, and it's also isolated 40 miles from anything else. So if you can find it, have fun.
These TikTokers discovered a suitcase, but when they opened it up, they were horrified by what they found. These 3 teens were using an app called Randonautica, which sends you to random locations in your area. Some people find cool hangout spots, and others find weird things in the forest. However, these teens were led to a suitcase that was hidden underneath a bridge. As they got close to it, they noticed a horrible smell coming from it, so they decided to open it up. But before I tell you what was inside, I found an app that shows you who your celebrity look-like is, and I guess mine's Kylie Jenner. Links in my bio if you want to see who yours is. They found what they thought was a dead body, so they decided to call the police. And when the police arrived, they confirmed that there were dead body parts inside.
Creepiest Places on Earth Part 1. Aokigahara Forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. In the last 50 years, over 500 people have taken their lives there. You can find bodies and bones there, which is pretty creepy by itself, but also you can find signs like life is a precious thing, please reconsider and think of your family. What's even more disturbing is that it has become popular for scavengers to enter the forest and loot bodies. Did we think about the same thing when I told you about the forest?
This is what they meant when they said, don't talk to strangers. In the early 1900s, a 10-year-old boy was playing in the woods when a tall man appeared and asked if he wanted to come back to his cabin for dinner. Totally caught off guard, the boy reluctantly agrees and begins walking. When they get to the cabin, the boy is relieved when he sees Paul, a family friend, sitting on the porch, so the boy happily goes inside. After they eat, the boy says thank you to the strange tall man, says bye to Paul, and then he leaves. He had only walked a few steps when he sees his family, along with Paul, running up the path towards him, frantically asking if he was okay. Confused, the boy says, I'm just fine, and he looks at Paul and he's like, why didn't you tell them I was with you at the cabin? And he points over his shoulder. Paul glances over the boy's shoulder and then narrows his eyes and says, you were kidnapped by a cult 3 days ago. No one's seen you. Terrified, the boy turns around to look at the cabin he just came from, and it's gone. All he sees is a dark forest that stretches for miles.
These are amazing, terrifying, scary landmarks right here in the United States. Here we go. One of the first known serial killers in the United States was H.H. Holmes. He confessed to 27 killings, but was said to have killed over 27 people. But here's the scary part. He bought a 3-story hotel and completely renovated the inside to be a maze of virtual impossible escapes. Known as the Murder Castle, this is the 2nd floor. He actually built this hotel knowing that it was next to the World's Fair to get easy victims. He would hire different construction workers to do different rooms, different parts of the time, so that they wouldn't catch on to him. He had doors in there that only opened to a brick wall. He had doors that only opened from the outside, and he even had suffocation rooms. He would also make his victims go into a safe that held a person, and he would lock the safe as they suffocated to death. He was apprehended in November of 1894 and sentenced to hanging. His last words were, "The evil ones, Danza's my sponsor."